What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you know we already tas. We already got it in. You know what I mean? But until we get it in again, we'll let the intro get it in. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support. I'm very humbled by it. So I've been doing a lot of supers, and I know that super Usos are some of my best. A lot of people love them. Oof. They're ready to start doing the Islander dance, right? The super Usos are off the hook, man. So I wanted to bring you another one. And this one's a little bit different because this one involved the Usos and the Paisas, right? So I made it into a super Uso because, hey, it was super the way they did this. Now, there's a thing that happens amongst all groups in prison, right? And it's people trying to roll it up, okay? And there's plenty of different ways people can roll it up, right? They can go fake a heart attack. They can go on the yard, go check into the program office. They could slip a cop a kite, a wheeler, letting them know, hey, my life's in danger. I got to get the fuck up out of here. Or however they do it. There's a lot of people that will take flight on an innocent person, someone that has nothing to do with anything they're going through, but it's a PC move. It's like, hey, they find the weakest victim, an old man, a non-affiliate, someone who's just in the legal law library, someone who's just trying to do their own time, and they'll rush them right in front of cops. Or there's even a thing where they wait to get off on their celly when the cops are doing count time. The cops see that they're engaged in a fight. They remove them, and then they tell them, hey, I'm not going back to the yard. So there's a lot of different ways for people to roll it up. But you got to understand that all the groups, every group, whether it's the others, the Pacific Islanders, Asians, the North, the South, the Woods, brother, right? The blacks, no matter what group it is, nobody wants to let someone just roll it up. Okay. The program goes like this. If you guys have any feeling that this person might wiggle, he might get on, he's under investigation on freeze. Everyone's watching him. They're SBing on him. That's called a shadow blanket, right? They're watching these motherfuckers to make sure that they don't do anything shady to wiggle up off the yard, because when someone gets somewhere and you allow them to do that, now you're in trouble. You're going to be asked questions. Why'd you let that motherfucker get on? Why didn't you handle business? I've seen plenty of times where, especially amongst the Southsiders, I've seen it a lot, right? Where somebody will check in, he'll be escorted across the yard. And I've seen a gang of Southsiders, because what they'll do is when say a dude checks in off the building and people are at yard, right? They'll literally escort them 2 or 3 COs across the yard. And I've seen Southsiders almost every time. Southsiders will get up and rush them. They're not letting them fucking get away unscathed. They're not going to let them wiggle. There's been times where they couldn't do nothing. Their hands were tied. They got away on the opposite side of the yard. And by the time they'd run over there, they'd get shot or, snatched up. So they couldn't do it. But 9 times out of 10, they're not going to let them wiggle. Same thing with the Norteños, man. There was a situation in the county jail where there was a homeboy that was being investigated on, man. He had done some shady shit. The last time he was in county, he had took a clavo out with them, right? He had the cell that he was in, they had hit for a clavo. For those of you that don't know what clavo is, they'd hit for dope, right? And that was supposed to be split amongst everybody to get their money or to do whatever they were gonna do with it, right? And I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say Norteños didn't sneak a fucking toke or two, because that's what happened. And it was actually weed at the time, so you were allowed to smoke weed. You just couldn't use hard drugs at that time, right? And so what would happen was the homeboys would roll up a gang of pinners, shoot them to everyone, and at night after program shutdown, motherfuckers could blaze, right? And believe me, when you're locked up, that's why there's a lot of drug usage in prison, because when you're locked up, motherfuckers trying to smoke, right? It's just what it is, right? So this dude had got the clavo and he made it out, right? He took it with him. Scandalous ass motherfucker, got pounds and pounds on the streets, and he takes a little half zip with him. And motherfuckers were upset. So the next time around that he goes to county, motherfuckers ain't forgot. and he gets put under investigation. And he was probably going to be whacked. To tell you the truth, he was going to be rolled up, whacked, removed. And before he could do that, there was what happened was they needed a fucking tier tender, and there was a chance for him to be a tier tender, and he did. And as soon as he got the job, they popped the cell for him to be a tier tender. Homie's like, he's just on the tier. He ran all the way to the cops. Was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And boom, they rolled him up out of there. A lot of motherfuckers got in trouble for that because the homies in the back asked, like, why'd you guys even allow him to take a holiday? He was supposed to be on freeze. He was not supposed to have action at nothing. You guys let him go. And a couple people got deemed behind that. So, yeah, it's something that happened. Now, back to the Super Uso story, right? The other car, man, is pretty lenient. They're pretty cool. You know, if you've ever had interaction with the Usos and the Asians, they're smooth criminals. Real nice people. Don't really fuck with anyone, man. Their politics are their politics. I couldn't sit here and tell you how the others politic because I never got in an in-depth conversation to ask them, like, the ins and outs of what they do. It never concerned me. I've never been in a situation where the Northerners went at it with the others, right? I've been in situations north and south, north versus whites, north versus blacks, but never north and the others. In fact, they were a lightweight ally of ours wherever we went, man, because we functioned on the same side of the yard. I was always cool with the Samoans, the Tocos, the Guam, you know, the people from Guam, the Chamorros, all that. So it was just like, and as well as the Asians, it was always love. So I never had a reasoning to ask what they did. It was none of my fucking business, to be honest with you. But we did stay abreast of what was going on with everybody. Peep the game because you never know when motherfuckers are feeling a little bit froggish, and they leap. So this situation, we were on a building. I was doing time out of state, and the Pacific Islanders, there were some big boys there, right? And like I said, cool. Everywhere I go, the interaction's cool with them. And there was one in particular, man, that I was super cool with. He was my spades partner. We used to gamble against people. And, you know, I knew with him, man, it was a win-win situation because if we lost, he was loaded. He had hella money, right? He always had us. He's like, don't trip, brother. I got it, right? He was kind of an OG big dude, been down like 20 years. And was, I won't say the shot caller for the others, but well respected within that group. Okay. He was one of the main hitters for them. I seen him beat some fucking black dude up bad, very bad, right? So everyone respected him, man. And like I said, man, if he gambled, he paid the debts. If he lost, if you know what I'm saying, we won, then he was collecting. And believe that, no one was going to deny him his issue. So I remember this little Tongan had came. And you could tell right from the gate, man, there was something wrong with him. There was something wrong with him. Like he was real tentative around his people. And they were having a lot of juntas, a lot of discussions. Every time we go out to the yard, they were at the tables like talking. They didn't want really anyone around them. So you respect other groups. Like because Northerners, blacks, and Tongans and Samoans and all that function on the same side of the yard, we still have our own tables, our own get down. It doesn't mean we're all together just chilling. Now, there is some times when there's a little bit of unity over there. There was fucking spreads popping or, you know what I mean, people fucking playing handball or basketball together or whatever. But when it comes to the politics or the gangbanging part of it, you let each group do their own thing, right? You don't get up in that area, you know? And a lot of the times we shared tables with blacks. And especially when I was out of state, we shared with blacks because there was very few of us, right? So there was not enough of us to have our own tables. So we shared with the brothers. Just was what it was. The Usos, the Asians, they always had their own thing going on for their own security measures. But anyways, I'm noticing a lot of juntas going on. A lot of fucking juntas. And like I said, that Uso dude was my motherfucking spades partner. So we chopped it up all the time. So, of course, he's hitting the track. I'm walking with the homeboy around the track, and I'm like, hey, Us, what up? Can I pull up? He's like, yeah. So I pull up. I'm like, what's up, bro? How you feeling? I'm checking temperatures, right? Because being that we were the smallest, the minority, the smallest group, like we always had to be up to par. Like, no, if something's kicking off, because do we need to take flight or do we need to fucking do the fucking atom? You know, like what do we got to do here? And so I'm kind of like trying to check the temperature, like, what up, Oos? You know what I mean? He was like, oh, ain't nothing, brother. Ain't nothing I can't handle, brother. I said, I know you can handle everything on this motherfucking yard. Look at the size of you. You're like fucking 10 of me. But are you good? You know, you always ask someone like that in prison, are you good? Like, that's the way of like, am I good? But you ask them, are they good, right? Are you good? He said, yeah, I'm good. Are you good? I said, shit, I hope so. Shit. Looking at his arm like, fuck, I can only hope. So I didn't know if they were plotting and planning on us or what they had going on. Well, this is what had happened. That Toko had came in. He used to be a South Sider. On the streets, he claimed South Side. Okay, he was a Southerner. And usually, 9 times out of 10, Polynesians, if they're North or South, they continue that trend. Right? They get in and they're Norteños and Southerners. Because one thing about the North and the South that not a lot of people will tell you, Once you become a norteño or a sureño or Southsider, right? You cease to be a different ethnicity. You still got your culture. You still are what you are, but you cease to be recognized as that. You're not a black Southsider or a white Southsider or a white Northern or a black Northern. You're just a norteño, period. That's it. Color doesn't mean shit, right? People that break it down to race and colors, they're lying to you. It's not like that. Okay, if you are part of the North or South, you are embraced by your homeboys. You're a real one. It don't matter what color you are. That's period. That's plain and simple, right? So a lot of the Usos or Tocos or any Polynesians or Micronesians that do come into prison that were already Northerners or Southerners on the streets, they're just going to continue that. And it's just going to be a Samoan homeboy. You know what I'm saying? The homeboy happens to be Samoan, but he's cool. And he's going to be talking to the Usos, man. He's going to be talking to the others, but he's going to let them know, hey, I'm a Norteño or I'm a Southsider. That's just what it is. And they're going to respect it. The North and South are the only two groups. Listen to what I'm saying. They're the only two groups that can have other ethnicities or races, whatever you want to call it, right, within their fold, within their group, and no one's going to trip on it. The blacks ain't going to trip off a black Southsider. The whites ain't going to trip off a white Northerner. The Usos, like, no one's going to trip because they know off the top, the way the North and South is, that if you fuck with one of theirs, everyone's getting off. And it's not that they're scared, but it's just like, why create fucking animosity and a big old fucking problem when it's not going to change nothing? The fool's going to be a Uso Southerner and a Uso Southerner after the riot. And that's it, period. You know, and a lot of them guys, they're very family oriented. The others, they don't want to go against their own people. You know, they don't want to fight another Uso unless they have to, or unless he's all bad. He got bad charges. Got to go. So what had happened was this Toco had came in and he was claiming Southerner all throughout the county jail, was in another prison and was a Southerner. But what happened was he had got into a wreck over there. I don't know the exact details of the wreck, but maybe it was gambling, maybe it was drugs. It was something. He got into a wreck and he went to the hole. And I guess the word was when he came back, he was going to get whacked. He was going to get removed by the Southsiders. He was no longer going to be in the best of standings. He was going to get a mean-ass chequeada, a permanent one, right? Whatever he did was bad. But he didn't have bad charges, didn't tell anyone. He just fucked up. So he gets to this particular yard and he runs the Usos down, the others, right? Not just the Usos, the Tocos. He was Toco. He runs them down like, hey, this is what it is. I was a Southsider. I got into a wreck over there, but I just want to be with my people now. I don't want to claim no more. I don't want to do that. Well, you can't do that in prison. You can't pick and choose. Once you claim something, that's what the fuck you are forever. A lot of people think that, like I know a couple white dudes, man, that are Woods, brother, right? Perfect example is that dude Mohawk Matt. That's his name, right? He was a Sureño Southsider on the streets, affiliated, associated, decided to get locked up and leave that behind and program as a Wood, and was allowed to do so, right? I don't think a lot of people knew who he was and recognized him, but he was allowed to function as a Wood. He got in there all blasted back saying he's a Wood. No one questioned him because he was white, you know? So most people only know what they know unless you get recognized. Unless someone comes out like, nah, that's the homie from my neighborhood. What the fuck's he doing over there at the Paisas, eh? Right? It's happened to me before. I've seen it. So anyways, this dude, the Polynesians don't know what to do. The other car, they're like, fuck, bro, you're going to cause tension for us, because the Southsiders are not going to let none of that shit ride. That's not how they get down. You're not going to just go to that yard after you already fucked up on their yard amongst their people and then switch up on their people. That's a cowardice act. That's leaving your people behind, right? You already claim Southside homes. You got to stick to that. You're either a Southsider in good standings or one in bad standings. But you're not going to be out here programming amongst righteous, active Southsiders, Northerners, all that, knowing that you're all bad. Because once they consider you all bad, you're all bad for everybody. That's kind of like the thing that's going on nowadays, right? See, back in the days, everyone paid attention to their own politics. If you were North or you were South, and the Northern Falls Southerners were tripping, they were like, fuck it, whatever, home. That's with him and his people. He did red on red, or he fucking decided not to, whatever, right? It's none of their business, and vice versa. But nowadays, it's kind of like if you're fucking considered a piece of shit or no good on one side, you're like that to everybody. That's just how they feel. So it was gonna be tension. So what happened was that Uso, the one I fuck with, he was, like I said, one of the main dudes. He got at the Southern shot caller, the guy who was on the yard, the Llavero. At that time, they didn't have the mesa, and I was out of state, so it was a little bit different, right? And so he got at the Llavero, the guy who was basically the one for Southerners, and let him know, hey, this is the whole rundown with old boy. Old boy fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He was a Southern, but he's our people's, and we intend to fucking back his play. As long as what he did wasn't no weird shit. If it's weird shit, you know what I'm saying, we're going to take care of him. We don't want you guys to take care of him. We're going to take care of him. See, because that's one thing about a group. You can't allow another group to get on your peoples. Even if they're all bad. Even if they're a chummo or whatever, you got to handle your own shit. You know, and if them other guys on the yard feel some type of way, they're going to get off on you guys too. Everybody got to go. If you don't deal with your own, then everybody gets dealt with. That's the rules of the game. That's facts, right? So anyways, he gets at these people and he's loking up with the south side. They start like kind of getting a lightweight fucking oof off, right? Oof. And the Usos, like I said, is 10 times bigger than anyone on the yard. So the Southerner was kind of just like, all right, SC. All right. He backed up. But I guess he told the Uso, like, hey, you guys gotta get rid of this dude. He's not good. We lost to our people. They let, you know what I mean? He's not good. And so they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. Are they going to ride with this dude and back his play? And now this dude kept it real. He didn't go over there and try to fake shit. But what he didn't do was tell him what he had done. Okay? So let's back up a little bit. So the Southerners are feeling some type of way. They're letting the others know, like, if you guys don't deal with it in a timely fashion, you got 72 hours or whatever timeline they gave you, we're going to get off. Now, at that time, we were functioning cool with the fucking Usos. So they're letting us know, like, if it cracks off with the Southerners, you got our back. We said, absolutely. Wait up. Okay, there's 5 of us. Absolutely. Right? If there was 3, it'd have been like, absolutely not. Right? Because we didn't want to lose our flag on that yard where we were. So anyways, we're already letting them know. The brothers is letting them know. Like, so it's basically going to be the Southsiders, and then the whites are going to join them, of course. And it's going to be the brothers, a few of the brothers. It was the Bloods, not the Crips. The Crips didn't want nothing to do with it. It was going to be the Bloods, the North, which there was only a few of us, and the others, right? So it was about to be a fucking straight up melee, big old riot. And the tension is all around the block, all around the yard. Like, everyone could feel it. All over one Toko coming over fucking because he doesn't want to claim Sud no more. Sud again, right? You can tell I don't want to claim anymore by the writing on the wall, right? He didn't want to do that no more. Well, this is what happens. So the Southerner pulls Big Us to the side, right? And tells him, hey, bro, you know, I want to show you something. So he shows him a Wheeler. And it's from the others on another yard. And they're like, oh, boy's all bad. Oh, boy disrespected. He had gotten a fight and disrespected a Uso, spit in his face and did all kinds of shit, right? Said Sud did all that shit, almost caused a big old riot between Southsiders and Usos, right? And then what he did was, there was a fucking Southside was a celly, okay? And he stole the address of one of his celly, another righteous Southerner, right? And started writing his sister. And she told her brother, she went to visiting and told her brother, came back, dude fucking got in a fight, took flight on just the weakest motherfucker he could find and went to the hole, then came to our yard talking about, oh man, I don't want to claim Southside no more. I want to be a Toko, right? So he was all bad, man. Not only was he stealing from himself, he was a jailhouse thief. He was fucking with people's families. You don't do that, right? His own people, and he was disrespecting his own ethnicity. So it was pretty bad. So the thing was, once they told the Usos that, the Usos like, okay, cool, we're going to get rid of him today. So this motherfucker was in his cell, and he knew what time it was. I don't know who told him. That's the thing. People will tell you, they'll be like, hey, bro, watch out. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get you. Or, you know, people will give you a heads up. I don't know why they do it. It's prison. You should mind your own fucking business, but they do. And thank God in some instances they do, because motherfuckers are able to live, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, the nicest people in the world are the Usos, the Polynesians, the Samoans, the Tokos, and they're the meanest motherfuckers too when you make them mad. Don't make them brothers mad. Oof, right? F, they go crazy. Their shit just unbraids and starts fucking going wild. So anyways, the big Uso goes to his cell door and he's like, look, brother, just come out here and get your medicine, brother. That's it. And then get the fuck out of here. You can't kick it with us. You're going to get your medicine and get the fuck out of here. You're Southsiders business. We should let them get you, but we're going to take care of it, right? Look, I don't know what that motherfucker said to him, but that fool started kicking his door. Boom, 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 boom. Getting the cops' attention. The cops like, hey, stop banging on your door. He kept kicking and kicking and kicking. Finally, the cops were like, everybody sell in. Right? Everyone's like, no, fuck that. They knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to wiggle. And the whole building, the North, the blacks, everybody knew what time it was. And this dude was trying to do a PC move. So now everybody was against him. Everybody stood there like, hell no, we ain't going. They said, you're not selling. They brought in a Lagoon squad. They all came in, right? And then everyone down. And they're fucking handcuffing people and everyone down. And dude's still banging. Boom, boom. He's trying to get the attention of the cops. And they went to get him out, right? To pull him out of the cell. And they put him in cuffs. And like 3 cops are around him. Let me tell you something. There was a cop on the side of him. That big Uso jumped up, went running, hit that motherfucking cop so hard that his head hit into the other dude's head and knocked him out. And everybody, every different group, everybody's jumped up and just started fucking rushing, started stomping out that dude. That fool got beat up by every ethnicity on the block, right? It was crazy. The Usos were like, they started going into a war cry. Oh, brother, right? They were fucking shit. The Asians were fucking doing karate. The Woods were like, brother, grab his property, brother, right? It was crazy. Blacks was like, we want some of that too. Southsiders were like, fuck them up, ese. Northerners were like, there's only a few of us. We're just gonna stand back. He got fucked up by everybody. That's a perfect example of you don't wiggle. That was some super Uso shit, man. Usually Usos are calm. They handle their business one-on-one very quietly. They go in a cell. They destroy someone bad. And that's it. Every once in a while, I've seen a few stabbing, a few things that have happened with the other car. But I'm going to tell you right here, man, this one was a free-for-all because every group, like I said, will not allow someone to PC up. If you see someone trying to fucking get on and tell the cops, that's like a slap in the face of everyone, and you just get off. With that being said, let me know what you guys think about this Super Uso, man. This was all facts, all truths. It really happened, man. It be like that sometimes. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of other people. Are you guys ready for part 2 from yesterday? If you are, put a 1, and I got you.